Hi everybody, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Educating Adventures. If you have been in other lessons with me before, you already know that I love animals and I could sit here all day and go over the millions of reasons why animals are so cool, but what we're going to be talking about today is all of the incredible jobs that animals have in their environment that help to keep it healthy. So why don't we go ahead and get started talking all about animal jobs. Animals have many important jobs in their ecosystems that help to keep them balanced. In other words, we need all native species to be doing their jobs in their environment in order for that ecosystem to be healthy and functioning. There are lots of animal jobs that actually benefit people too, but of course that's not why the animals are doing those jobs. When an animal does a job that also benefits people, we call it an ecosystem service. A great example of an ecosystem service is trees and other plants creating oxygen when they go through photosynthesis that allows us to breathe. I don't know about you, but I really like to breathe. So I'm really grateful for that ecosystem service. And lots of times when we have a healthy, balanced ecosystem, humans benefit too because we are getting all of the ecosystem services as kind of an extra bonus. Today, we are not going to be talking about ecosystem services, but we are going to explore some of the incredible jobs that animals do that help to keep their ecosystem balanced. The first animal job that we have to discuss is that of the decomposers. Decomposers are organisms that break down dead plant matter and return it to the environment in the form of nutrients. Nutrients are the things that we find in soil that help plants to grow big and strong. Most animals that are decomposers break down that dead plant matter by eating it, and then when it comes out the other end in their waste, it goes into the soil as nutrients, helping those plants to grow. Worms, millipedes, and slugs are great examples of decomposers, and some organisms that are not animals are also decomposers, like mushrooms, which are a fungi. Next up, we have pollinators. Pollinators are animals that move pollen from flower to flower, and this is very important because most plants rely on pollinators in order to produce seeds, which often grow inside of fruits. Being able to produce seeds is one of the most important things that a plant can do because if they're not able to produce seeds, eventually that species of plant will go extinct. It will disappear. Imagine an apple tree, and not just any apple tree. It's the last apple tree in the whole world, and we don't have any pollinators, which means that apple tree can't produce apples filled with seeds, and eventually when that apple tree dies, there will be no more apple trees in the whole world. So pollinators have a very important job. Some plants can be pollinated by the wind, but many plants rely on pollinators like bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and even some surprising pollinators like mosquitoes in order to be pollinated so that they can produce seeds. Third up on the list, we have seed dispersers. After plants produce seeds, it's best for that plant to spread those seeds around the ecosystem. When plants grow really close together, they're competing for water and nutrients and sunlight. So when plants are spread out, there's far less competition for all of those very important things. Seed dispersers are animals that spread those seeds out. Some plants, their seeds are covered in thistles or little hooks so that they can attach to an animal's fur or feathers and be carried around the environment. But remember before, we said many seeds are formed inside of fruit, and fruits are pretty yummy. Now, just to be clear, some seeds are designed to be dispersed by water or wind, but seeds that develop inside a yummy fruit are typically designed to be eaten. Once an animal eats that fruit and those seeds, they travel around their ecosystem, they go to the bathroom, they drop those seeds in their waste, which helps to spread the seeds all around. Toucans, monkeys, even American black bears. All these animals love to eat fruit filled with seeds, therefore they are very important seed dispersers. We've now talked quite a bit about plants and why they're so important. They produce oxygen, they're food for animals, but of course, there are some animals that don't like to eat plants. They'd much prefer to eat other animals. And that brings us to animal job number 4, being food for other animals. In other words, some animals' job is simply to be prey. The carnivores that we haven't quite mentioned yet today, they need food as well. That's how they get all the energy that they need to survive. So animals like deer, mice, even fish are great examples of animals whose part of their job is to be food for other animals. We just discussed how some animals are very important because they are prey, but for our 5th and final animal job of the day, we're going to flip to the other side of that equation. Some animals, their important job is to be a predator. Predators are very important in every single type of ecosystem because they keep populations of smaller animals in check. And what I mean by that is without those predators eating the smaller animals, their population would grow and grow and grow, and they would throw the ecosystem out of balance, which would be a pretty big problem. So we mentioned before a couple prey species. The predators of those animals are equally as important. Wolves keep populations of deer in check. The deer would eat all the grass in an environment, and then there wouldn't be enough grass for all the other species. Snakes keep those mice in check that we talked about before. That's important for people because mice are quite pesky to us and they carry diseases. And lastly, those fish we mentioned before are very important food for sharks. And we know that without sharks, we don't have a healthy ocean. So just as important as prey species are, their predators are just as important. We just talked through 5 different jobs that animals have, but there are way more jobs than just 5. And most animals have more than one job in their ecosystem. So if you don't remember anything else from our lesson today, the one thing that I want you to remember is that every single animal is important because every single animal has a job, and we need that animal to be doing their job in order to have a healthy ecosystem and a healthy planet. And this is why it's so important that we protect every single species, even the ones that we might not be too fond of, like the mosquitoes. They may be a pest to us, but they are still very important. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today to learn all about animals and their amazing jobs. Who knew that they worked so hard or that they were so important? If you would like to keep learning about animal jobs, be sure to click the link below to check out our Educating Adventure Science program. There's quizzes, activities, projects, and so much more, and I hope we see you next time at our next adventure. Bye!